Hello again, still in California and really enjoying this just incredible weather after an incredible amount of rain over the last 24 hours. So I really couldn't pass this up. We're gonna be outside. Apologies if the light is too strong. This may be our last video here because we're about to go back to New York, but we're still gonna try to enjoy some nice wine. And today we're gonna have a wine from the Southern Rhône, from the Cairanne region or appellation. I'm doing this video in English because Hani did a video of the same wine, a different vintage, 2017, in French a couple of years ago. So hopefully our audience will find both and we'll be able to enjoy them. This is a 2016 Appellation Cairanne by Marcel Richaud. Now, this is an interesting story here. Richaud is really an incredibly talented winemaker. He comes from a long tradition, long family. Probably we're talking 3-4 generations here. And what's been happening in the southern Chateauneuf du Pape and Côtes du Rhône region, this used to be a Côtes du Rhône Village. Then over time it developed into more specificity and became a Côtes du Rhône Village Cairanne, which is the village of Cairanne. And then in 2016 or thereabout, it became its own appellation. It became Cairanne, like we discussed for Rasteau, for Cairanne, for Vin Sobre. Some of these smaller appellations in the Southern Rhône are becoming, because of the winemakers are pushing for this, and because they're able to prove their specificity and their methods, they're pushing for their own AOC, so to speak, and becoming sub-regions within the vast Côtes du Rhône region. And so this is Cairanne, and this is probably the best known winemaker in Cairanne, Marcel Richaud. This is his standard vineyard. He has another sort of higher end vineyard, bottling, which comes out on the years where he has enough quality to have a distinction between the two. It's a blend. It's a really typical blend of even more so almost than Chateauneuf, which is a direct comparison. So it's got Grenache, it's got Mourvèdre in 20 to 30% percentages, so not negligible. Syrah as well, Counoise and Carignan. So we're talking 5 varietals. They're each 15% or more. So the Grenache I think is 30, the Carignan and the Counoise is 15, and you got the Syrah and Mourvèdre in between. So very representative, and the challenge is to make something that really brings all these grapes together and see what it gives you. So here we are. It's pretty alcoholic, 15%, so which is to be expected from the south of France. It's a little bit, opaque, so I don't know for sure, but it doesn't seem like it's been filtered or whatever. It's 2016, which was an incredible year in the south of France, so it's got to be good, and it's been sitting for enough time. On the nose, it's just very aromatic, and I'll pick up a comment Hani made at the time. It's very aromatic. It's just an incredible pleasure to just, let's say, sniff it up. It's floral, it's strong, it's aromatic, and over the last couple of days, it developed even on top of that sort of a layer of fat, gaminess that I find very interesting, even though it's kind of different than the floral part, but it's there. And a little bit more depth and seriousness. It's not a light, fresh, easygoing wine. It's got nice acidity. I don't feel the heat from the alcohol, maybe because it's sort of an older vintage than what Hani tasted, and it's been a couple of years or a year or two since. So it's really settled down. I don't feel the hotness on the sort of alcohol, and then it just got this roundness, this integration that I think is just very hard to accomplish. I mean, I think we can sit here and try to pick each varietals and say, oh, this is from the Syrah, like a little bit of pepperiness, and this is from the Mourvèdre, sort of bitterness and herbaceousness, but it's under control, which really is very positive. But I don't know how to do that. I don't really want to do that. I think you have to look at the whole ensemble and see if it comes together in a harmonious way. And it does. I mean, and it's funny because at different sips, you may feel one or the other of different points from the different varietals, maybe, but you don't focus on that. It just gives you that engagement and the involvement that you want to continue to sort of take the next sip and see what you're going to find. Very well made one, which is kind of interesting because this is really a Chateauneuf blend. It's almost competitive with Chateauneuf, although of course it doesn't reach those prices. We're talking here, this is a price point that's really with the best of Côtes du Rhône, but below Chateauneuf. And so it kind of makes you wonder. I think a really good Chateauneuf, you will feel a difference. It's got more depth, more fruit, more richness. It's just like, man, it's a meal. And that's worth 70, 80, 90 bucks. A good Côtes du Rhône is fresh, it's pleasant, it's really something you open without thinking too much about it. And we're talking 20 to 30 bucks. This is in between. It's well worth every dime. It's like a junior Chateauneuf with the pleasure you get from all that blending without necessarily looking for an additional layer of depth and complexity if you pay more money for it. It's just a really, really very well made wine. Cheers, and see you soon.